Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for February 19th through 25th. This week I read 3 books, I watched 3 movies, I watched 1 TV show, and I listened to 1 book. Obviously, this is an incredibly late installment of this project because I traveled Monday and Tuesday of that week for Welcome to Night Vale Live, which is an experience I highly recommend. And then Thursday of that week to Wednesday of this week, I was in Boston for NerdCon Nerdfighteria. Despite all of that excellent travel time, I managed to get some personal entertainment in. First this week I finished Hyperbole and a Half by Allie Brosh. This is a quick read as it's a mixture of comics and prose, and it's actually where the all the things meme came from. I laughed a lot while reading this book, which made for some awkward times on the ferry, in lines, and on the bus. More so causing jealousy by those around me who didn't have something about which to laugh. One thing I wasn't so down with about this book is it is rather ableist. In particular, the author makes a lot of fun of what she calls the simple dog, and the language around that really bothered me. The second book I finished this week was Don't Kill the Birthday Girl, Tales from an Allergic Life by Sandra Beasley. I read this book as part of Diversity Bingo 2017, and it fulfills the category of a main character with an anaphylactic allergy. One of the biggest things I took away from this book was a reminder to call my food issues intolerances instead of allergies. If I have cow's milk, goat's milk, grapefruit, shrimp, onions, or certain nitrates, I will be uncomfortable for sure. I could even get a migraine depending on what I eat. However, I will not put my life at risk, nor will I have to spend the night in an emergency room. This book was interesting because it gave me a whole new perspective on trying to navigate a world in which so much is dangerous, and how people often assume that a person with a legitimate allergy is just being fussy. It's frustrating, especially when the subject is something so intimate as food. The third book I finished, and I use that term loosely here, is Romeo and/or Juliet by Ryan North. Have you ever imagined Romeo and Juliet as a choose-your-own-adventure book? If not, somebody else has done it for you. Obviously, I didn't go through all 2 billion possible stories in this format, but I did get some happy endings, I got some deaths, and I went on a very interesting side adventure with the nurse. Overall, I was pretty satisfied with my use of this book. The chapters were written in a humorous way. If you wanted to follow along in the format that Shakespeare wrote it, you could do that. I personally decided to mess with the classic at almost every turn. This week I watched 4 episodes of a series of unfortunate events which took me past what I remembered from the 2004 movie and had a twist that I did not see coming. Additionally, I hope that Mr. Poe coughing all the time is building towards something. Otherwise, the show focuses on this particular character trait way too much. This week I watched Slapshot, which is a 1970s hockey movie. Based on that introduction, you might assume that there was misogyny, homophobia, and toxic masculinity, and you would be right. When the movie wasn't cringeworthy in those regards, it did have a decent amount of laugh lines. And I don't hate that I watched it, but it doesn't exactly have a fond place in my heart. The next 2 movies were items I watched on my planes to Boston, Doctor Strange and The Nice Guys. From a visual standpoint, I really regret watching Doctor Strange, which is a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, on that tiny back-of-the-seat screen, as it was clearly meant for a bigger screen. Being that I was on a plane, I definitely nodded off a couple of times, but was awake enough to enjoy the fight scenes, the gorgeous cinematography, as well as a few laugh lines. I feel like I need to watch that one again to get the full experience. The Nice Guy centers around the mystery of the death of an adult film star, and it's kind of like a buddy cop movie with the exception that neither of the leads is actually a cop. This was also set in the 1970s, but is obviously a much more recent movie, but it's hard to compare much between it and Slapshot because, again, I watched this on a plane and I nodded off a couple of times. I also had to remember where I was in the film when my first plane touched down in Toronto so I could watch it on my second plane to Boston. This week I listened to When Breath Becomes Air by Kalanithi. I had seen this book around my library, but the cover in Canada never caught my eye. Upon seeing the UK cover on Santa's channel, linked below, I decided I needed an outlet for my Grey's Anatomy addiction and downloaded it immediately. This is a work of non-fiction. The author was a surgeon, and in his 30s he found out he had cancer. The book focuses on his experience as well as decisions made due to his diagnosis. It is a rather short book as the author died while writing it, but there's an excellent introduction by a colleague and the prologue is done by his wife. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about them down in the comments below. On the way down in the comment section, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you again on Monday. Bye! Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for